All right, Jerry, welcome to the show. How are you doing? It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Any chance I get an opportunity to geek out about YouTube is a good day.
Yeah, no, this must be a great day then, because we're going to be talking all about YouTube, especially small businesses on YouTube. But first, I wanted to ask you a bit about your YouTube presence, growth on the platform for yourself, and yeah, how that's been going.
Well, I started my channel as a side hustle and it really is a hobby. I was working as the chief marketing officer at an agency and the creative
Mhm.
director, and our clients kept asking to learn about YouTube. And I was like, well, it's one way to learn. Let me start a channel. So
Yeah,
I started a channel. And one of the things that I like to do is I either decide something's important or I decide it's not. And if it's important, I give it whatever it needs within reason. And if it's not, I just don't even bother to do it. It's just
yeah,
allowed me to not chase as many shiny objects as we tend to do as humans. And so I started this channel. I said, I'm going to publish one video a week for a year and we'll see what happens. And I almost quit a bunch of times. But it took 6 months to get 100 subscribers. But then a month later, I had 1,000. And a year later, I
yeah.
had 10,000. And then from that, I grew my business from there. So now I have my main original channel, which is at, I think, at about 160,000 subscribers. And then I have a new channel I just started last month as of this recording, just to start over and, make sure everything still works from the beginning. Because a lot of the people that I work with are not over 100,000 subscribers. They're starting from the beginning.
Right. To kind of narrow in on that, for people that are looking to start YouTube, specifically people that own a small business or are entrepreneurs, they think, I feel like a lot of the time, that it's going to be this crazy time suck and like insane time commitment. What would you say to them about that? Is it really like such a really big time commitment?
Well, it absolutely can be. When I
Hmm.
first started my first channel, I remember people like in Facebook groups bragging, I spent 19 hours editing this video. And I had two kids
Wow.
under 7, a full time job. My wife worked evenings, so I did school pickup at two schools, dinner, cleanup, bath time, like all of it. And so I had to fit it
Wow.
into the nooks and crannies. And so, yes, it
Sure.
can. But if we let go a little bit of the perfectionism that tends to live inside a lot of us, it can absolutely be done in less time. I'm on this
Hmm.
mission to make YouTube accessible for all entrepreneurs, no matter how busy they are now. Because it is something, like I said, that you start building, you start publishing videos, and it's not going to happen in your first 30 days. It's very unlikely, right? So you have to stick with
Hmm.
it for a while. So I've set it up so people can do it in 90 minutes a week. And there's kind of
That's
a
great.
few core principles with this. One, we're only doing long form videos, no shorts. We're only doing one video per week. We are focusing on the outline, not
Hmm.
video production. YouTube did this huge study last year where they connected sensors to people's brains. This is kind of kind of creeps me out. I'm a little
Whoa.
squeamish, but they connected sensors to people's brains to find out what made them like videos. And it was never jump cuts, flashy editing, anything like that. It was an emotional connection with the person on the screen and what they were talking about. So we
Hmm.
have this opportunity now to do it in much less time.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like there are a lot of people out there that really need to get every video perfect, every frame, every cut, everything like that. And I think when you stop thinking about how to make it perfect and just start making the thing, I think that's when the ball really gets to start rolling. Because you've also talked a lot about organic content versus just like running ads. What do you think the benefits are of really investing that time in making organic YouTube content for your brand versus running a bunch of ads and commercials?
So every once in a while, I go in and I look up this statistic in my analytics. I started publishing videos in 2017. Pretty
Mhm.
consistently, in any given rolling month or any given rolling 28-day period, as we measure things, 85% of every video that I've ever made has gotten views in the last 28 days. So
That's great.
you're building this evergreen library of content. I have a video that I put out in December of 2017. I think it got 19 views in its first month because my channel was still small then, and it's getting 500
Mhm.
views a month now. So
It's great.
yeah, so that's the big thing is with paid, if you can get the money to work for paid, where for every dollar you put in, you're going to make $2 back. Paid can be amazing, right? Especially if you're
Mhm.
impatient. But if you don't have that capital or you can't make the figures work with organic, you're building this library that can serve you for years and years to come. And nobody's TikToks and reels and Facebook videos from years ago are still getting seen, but on YouTube, that consistently happens. So I feel like I could literally stop publishing videos now and probably still get leads, sales, and income from YouTube for another 3 to 5 years minimum.
That's great. And I think building up that archive is a wonderful idea, because you said it perfectly, because, with these platforms like TikTok, Instagram, people don't necessarily go to your page and like look through back to like all these videos that you've done. They kind of, it's more of an immediacy grab, and they see what you've been doing lately, or it comes up in their feed most likely. Yeah. But for YouTube, if somebody gets into a rabbit hole about something that you've talked about 3 years ago, your video is going to get recommended to them.
Yeah, I had somebody message me yesterday that I was in some group with a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I think I remember this woman, Jill. And she said, I asked ChatGPT for help with this topic, and your YouTube video from 5 years ago came up as the top answer. And I was like, wow, okay, if that doesn't demonstrate the evergreen power of YouTube, I don't know what does.
Here's what blows my mind. Most people are sitting around waiting for their boss to give them a raise, while millionaires are building income streams in their spare time. Entrepreneur and creator Marina Magilko cracked the code on this. She built more than 10 income streams that now pull in over $100,000 a month. She shared the secret sauce with our team, so now we're sharing it with you, exactly how she did it. This guide gives you practical step-by-step strategies you can actually implement. So just pick just one income stream from her guide and watch what happens. Stop what you're doing right now and grab it in the show notes 6 months from now, and you'll be glad you did.
In a day and an age where we're all looking for answer engines rather than search engines, it kind of makes sense that would be the end goal of somebody's search, to have you pop up, or like your statement pop up, or your research. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit further with like your new channel, of course, called YouTube for Grownups, which I love the name, by the way. So you kind of suggest a different approach for than maybe you would say a typical creator advice would be, because I feel like a lot of creators in the influencer and that category want to grow in a different way, and you kind of suggest a different path for already established businesses. What do you suggest you think is different from how you would recommend a young influencer to start?
Well, the best part is if you have a business, you have your own offers, your own products, services that you can sell, then you can make money theoretically from one video. So if you're going that influencer creator route, I mean, you've got to build up a lot of views and loyalty before a sponsor is going to look at you, before you'll have enough views to make anything from affiliate income. Like all these other ways you can make money on YouTube, you're not going to get it in your first little bit. I got my first client from YouTube, I think 11 days after I started my first channel. Somebody was like, do you consult? And I was like, sure. Yeah, I consult.
I can.
Yeah. And that was it. And I'm looking at the calendar. I'm like,
happy
oh my
to do
gosh.
so.
Yeah. But when you get on YouTube and you start talking about your thing, it's a whole new level of credibility and authority. They can see that you can talk about it. These days, you didn't just have AI generate something that looked good on your website in text. Like they're like, oh, I know this person, I like her, I trust her, and I'm going to hire her. And so that's the biggest thing between influencers, creators versus entrepreneurs. But the other thing is, it's just a different thing that we're optimizing for. I like getting views because they feel good, of course, but I'm not optimizing for views. I'm optimizing for leads. I want to make videos that help people and then are going to bring new leads into my business. And I think that's the biggest point of differentiation. The YouTube for Grownups thing was just sort of a lot of the people that are teaching influencers are, a little bit younger than me. And they are the ones saying, yeah, spend 19 hours to get your video perfect. But if you're a grown-up, you might have kids or a full-time job or responsibilities, all these other things. We don't have that time. And so that's why I wanted to kind of take this focus with the new channel.
Yeah, and kind of in that vein, what strategies do you recommend that people use to not just get views, but convert those views into actual leads and eventually business?
Yeah, well, the first thing is that we want to train the YouTube algorithm. So people that have tried YouTube before and given up, which is probably more than the number of people who have tried it and succeeded, odds are that YouTube wanted to recommend your videos, but they never understood your channel or who it was for. So sometimes people, sort of go in half-assed to YouTube. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to repurpose my Facebook Lives, or I'm going to throw up some different things and see what happens. But when you can go through and help YouTube understand exactly who your channel is for and how you're helping them with something, YouTube wants to recommend your videos. And I'll give you 2 examples. My new channel, I mean, within 3 weeks, 65% of my views were coming from YouTube recommending my videos, coming up in search, coming up on the homepage, coming up in the feed. So imagine that, like a channel that's 3 weeks old, it's got a handful of videos on it. YouTube's already recommending the videos, but I was helping one person, right? I was grown-up entrepreneurs with growing YouTube to help their business. Like that's it. And if I started talking about, you could also add a podcast and email marketing and all these other things, that's where YouTube kind of gets confused. And then with my original channel, it started as helping people with all the different social media networks. And then eventually I started talking about podcasting because I worked in radio for 20 years as well. And podcasting is a great medium. I love being on podcasts. I have a podcast. But I started posting videos about podcasting. And I posted, I think, 10 videos in a row. They're all about podcasting. And within 60 days, people were finding me at the top of Google and YouTube search results for podcasting help, how to start a podcasting, different things like that. So within a short period, even on an existing channel, YouTube was able to figure out, oh, okay, this is podcasting now. So we sort of retrained it. So that's the first thing, is we got to just train the algorithm so that your videos get pushed out. If you have to promote every video you release, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. I think, especially when you live on YouTube specifically, like that platform, it definitely behooves you to keep it on the platform, because if you also send out the videos to other places, people click on them, they see maybe a minute of it, 35 seconds, and click out. That's bad news for your video retention rate, right? Yeah. So sticking on the platform is probably a really good way to actually get recommended to other people just by being there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of controversy around that. Like, should you send people to YouTube? And there was this, it's probably last year, everybody was making a video about, this will kill your channel, stop doing it. And it was one of those sensational headlines that's really like click worthy, right? And you're right. If you send people there and they stop watching in that scenario, then that's not going to be good for your channel. But YouTube has actually come out and said external traffic is judged by a different algorithm than internal traffic from within YouTube. But the way I do it, I say, hey, look, especially if you're starting over, like send the right people there, but don't clickbait them, like literally tell them what they're going to get in the video, so that you're only sending the people that go, oh my God, this sounds amazing. I'm going to go watch 80% of it at least.
Yeah, right. And Jerry, last thing I wanted to ask you about is something that I feel like maybe small business owners have trouble with. Maybe a lot of them want to start YouTube or like do what you're doing and get that organic growth going. But I guess in terms of making videos and like topics, what do you recommend that people do? Do you think kind of like what you were saying before, do you think they should just talk about things that they know and like knowledge to help people and educate people? Or do you think there are other waves there that they could ride?
Well, if you're going the entrepreneur route where you want to try and get leads sooner and things like that, the best thing you can do is go on there and start helping people solve problems. And this doesn't apply to 100% of businesses. There's obviously a lot of models out there. The people I work with most are what I call expertise-based businesses, right? So they're selling their services, or they're a consultant or a coach or a course creator, something like that. Right. But even if you're a home services business, for example, you can go on there and start making tutorials. And even if you can't serve somebody across the country, that doesn't mean somebody local is not going to find your video as well. SEO on YouTube is not what it once was. Like, it used to be most of the views came from search. Now I've heard it's as low as 20% of views on YouTube come from search. People are using it more like TV. But if you can still make videos about things that people are thinking about, worrying about, wondering if they're going to get it right or wondering if they got it right, those are the things that will surface and that people will click on.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for being here and sharing some information, some wisdom, and some tips. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody's going to get a lot from it. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, that's going to do it for us today, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of Hubspot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily. We'll catch you later.